this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. It's Town of Old Saybrook night tonight on the Pete Mezzetti Show. And my first guest tonight is the illustrious first selectman of the Town of Old Saybrook, Carl Fortuna.
You are too kind.
Hello, sir.
Good to see you.
Hi, buddy. How are you? Long time no see.
It is a long time. This is very beautiful in here.
Thank you.
Very professional. I love it.
Thank you.
It's a much better setup.
It is. I like it.
Yeah, you like it better too?
I do.
I love this. I mean, it's just super. And I brought some notes with me. They can be right in front of me.
Exactly.
Because we're going to be talking about so many things tonight.
I know. Let's see.
So much to cover in so little time.
Well,
but,
we got time. We'll squeeze it all in.
You know, and when I come here, I've often talked to you about, you know, and I tell people when I get off the show what a professional experience it is to come in here with the lighting and the cameras and the crew. And of course, you know, the hosts, of course. Well, yeah, you're right about that. But this is a really great upgrade right here. Really nice. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, good to be back.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I haven't seen it.
You know, you're very generous.
Yes.
And kind with your invites to me, and I try not to take advantage of it every time.
But
no, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, thanks for coming
down. The weather's beautiful out.
It is. It's nice out.
Finally, it feels like we might be turning the corner a little bit, right?
Exactly, which I'm ready for.
Yeah, I think we all are.
I'm ready.
It was a darn cold 2 months.
Yeah.
In January and February.
Exactly.
And I think we're all ready to come out of that.
Exactly. Hey, I hear we have breaking news.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we got? Tell me.
So it's an election year. And the election this year, the municipal elections are November 4th. And today, tomorrow, putting together the paperwork for another campaign.
Okay, cool. Cool.
So a long road to get to November 4th.
Yep.
Obviously a lot of work to do just in town hall, just in the normal first selectman position. But if we as a team, and I mean Scott Giegerich and Barbara Labriola, our treasurer, we run together as a team. If we're going to do it, we got to get out there and start. You got to raise money for municipal elections, Pete. As you know, we're not in the citizens election program.
No.
So it's not like we just go out and get 200 signatures and $10 from everybody. We have to raise money.
Yeah.
And campaigns are usually 15 to 25,000 that you have to raise.
Right.
But in any event, there's a lot going on in town, and there's some things I think I'd like to see through if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected. But it looks like I haven't filed the paperwork yet.
Okay.
So I can't sit here and tell you I am running, because once I say that, I have to. There's some things that have to happen.
Yes.
But we're filling out the paperwork, and I'm strongly inclined to run.
Okay.
And so is Scott Giegerich also, and Barbara Labriola, our treasurer. So we would run as a team, and obviously try to get other folks from our party elected.
Right.
So there you have it.
All right.
And you're really the first one I've said anything to.
Wow.
Yeah, I saved it for you, Pete.
Thank you, Carl. All right, let's see. So do we want to talk about the state budget and how it impacts the town budget?
I mean, just very briefly. I mean, we're putting together a budget right now, right? In fact, tomorrow night, today is
Monday,
March 10. Tuesday night, March 11, the town of Old Saybrook has our public hearing on the budget, and then we have a referendum in May.
Right.
So, we have expenditures and we have revenues, and we try to match the two, and we come up with a mill rate. And CCM, Joe DeLong very well, has been very involved at the state level, saying that the governor's budget that came out was really not a good budget for the towns.
Oh, no?
And what we CCM collectively, the 168 towns that are members of 168 out of 169, I forget what the one town that isn't a member, The governor, every year he comes out, every year over the last 6, 7 years, I'm going to hold towns harmless. In other words, I'm going to give you the same money this year that I gave you last year.
Okay.
So don't worry, you're not going to get cut. Well, we live in inflationary times, right? Okay, we've all experienced that over the last 4 years. That is not a political statement, that's a factual statement.
Right.
So when we are being held harmless and getting the same amount of money that we got in fiscal 24 and fiscal 23 and fiscal 22 and 21, 2019, all that means is we're losing money because inflation is digging into it. Right?
Yeah.
Just like your job, right? If you're not getting a raise and if you're not keeping up. And it is the same thing with towns. And we had a press conference the other day after one of our meetings. And we basically said it's a campaign called Do the Math.
Okay.
And the math doesn't work out for the towns.
Oh, no?
And when we sit here and do a budget and I tell you I have to raise taxes, it's because, number one, the governor and the legislature is saying we're going to flat fund the towns for the 8th year in a row.
All right.
And another thing that frequently happens at the state level is they start giving money away to special interest groups. And by that, I mean, and these are two great, wonderful groups of people.
All right.
Veterans and firefighters are the latest two examples. So this year there was a veterans exemption. And if you're a veteran and you meet certain qualifications, you can be fully exempted from paying property taxes. Well, guess what? That impacts the grand list of a town. It impacts the amount of money that we raise.
Sure.
And therefore it impacts the mill rate that other people have to pay on their taxes, so on their real estate. The point being that you can't keep giving away money, the legislature and the governor, to special interest groups and saying, okay, firefighters, and they deserve it. Volunteer firefighters deserve a $2,000 real estate tax exemption. That's what they get. Okay. It used to be $1,000. Now it's $2,000.
Okay.
That costs the town of Old Saybrook about $110,000 every year. That's in revenue. So if someone owes $5,000 worth of taxes on their house, now they only owe $3,000.
Right.
I have to make up that other $2,000 somewhere else.
Right.
And that's probably on my house and other people's houses who don't volunteer. I love our volunteers. It's not about that.
No.
It's about if the state wants to give money away to special interest groups. Do it in the income tax. Say, I'll give you a tax credit.
Okay.
Or you can pay, if I pay 15 or 20%, you get to pay 10%. Why not do it that way? Because, everything is about making people feel good, and these special interest groups, we're helping veterans, we're helping firefighters. That's true, you're doing that. But all this does is increase the property tax for everybody else in town. And the other thing they did this year was the motor vehicle tax. I don't know if you heard about how they changed the way we value vehicles.
I didn't. Last time, when Joe DeLong was here last, we touched on it a little bit, but we didn't get into details.
And what they did makes sense.
What they do?
So during COVID, it was hard to make a new car, right? Because people were not in the factories, so the factories were shutting down. So the value of used cars went through the roof.
Yes.
Okay. So what the state legislature did to make sure that my 15-year-old car is not worth $15,000 when it's only worth $5,000.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
They said we're going to put motor vehicles on a depreciating scale.
Okay.
So if you buy a new car tomorrow, it is taxed at 85% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
All right.
And then the following year, it's taxed at 80%. And the year after that, 75%. And it goes down for 15 years, and then it stays flat.
All right.
That's fine.
Sure.
Except for the fact that it costs cities and towns about $1 billion off the grand list because the value of the vehicles ended up being lower.
Right.
Without going into the details, trust me on this one. All right? Towns and municipalities on their motor vehicle grand list are seeing a hit.
Okay.
Old Saybrook, $330,000. We're collecting less money from motor vehicles. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that $330,000, all it does is end up on real estate property taxes. Right. So the state does these things, and some I agree with, some I don't agree with. I mean, obviously, veterans, firefighters paying less in motor vehicle taxes, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, hold cities and give cities and towns the money that we're losing. And I'm here. I am. I'm on a soapbox tonight.
That's okay.
Connecticut. Every study that comes out says Connecticut has the third highest property tax in the country.
Right.
So, you know, the amount of taxes we pay on our houses are the most expensive. Yeah. Third most expensive in the country. Right. And we know that in Connecticut. We have an expensive property tax, a regressive property tax, because the property tax doesn't care whether you're poor or rich. Right. You're going to get taxed on that house regardless.
Exactly.
And you're going to get taxed at the same rate as someone who may have a lot more money than you, even though their house might pay more. Right. But all these things end up making the property tax even more regressive than it already is. Okay. And there just is no fix coming out of the state legislature or from the governor's office. And all they are doing is making it more expensive for people to live in the state of Connecticut. In the communities in which they live, and some people just can't afford. I was talking to the mayor of New London yesterday. He said, I cannot raise taxes anymore because I'm going to make people homeless on the street if I do this anymore. So, you know, that's a little bit of my latest gripe.
Good.
Look, we're very fortunate in Old Saybrook, okay? Our budgets are conservative. Our mill rate this year is going to go up 0.39 not even a half a mil, okay? Okay. Not a big increase. The town budget is up 1.7%. All right. The Board of Ed budget is up 4.5%, so it's a little bit more. People pay their taxes in Old Saybrook, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah. But that's not the case in every town. No. And what is happening at the state level is not helping. No. So that's what I have to say, and I'm sticking to it. Okay?
Well, you know what? We can say more, but hold on a second, because we got to go into a short break. We'll be right back.
Keep 2025 fraud-free with these 3 tips from Better Business Bureau. Be wary of unsolicited emails from a person or company. Remember, scammers can make emails look like they are from a legitimate business, government agency, or reputable organization. Never click on links or open attachments in unsolicited emails. If you haven't met a person face-to-face, don't send them money. This is especially true if the person asks you to transfer funds using a prepaid debit card or Cash App. Money sent to strangers in this way is untraceable, and once it's sent, there's no getting it back. And resolve to research the retailer before entering payment information when shopping online. Ask, is this a person or business I know and trust? Do they have a working customer service number? Where is the company physically located? And have I checked to see if others have complained? Visit bbb.org to read complaints and reviews and find a trusted company near you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with the illustrious first selectman of the town of Old Saybrook. Welcome back, Mr. Mayor.
Well, you know, Pete and I, during the break, had a little conversation. I'm surprised he still said illustrious and not something else.
No, I got to be nice to you. All right, what else?
You know, what? 2 other very brief things at the state to give people an example of what is going on up there. Okay. There's a law being proposed that if I have a paid police department and they're in a town pension. Yeah. They have a pension. Yeah. So there is a state law being passed up there. I don't know if it'll make it all the way across the governor's desk or not, that is going to say that if our town plan, if the town of Old Saybrook's pension plan is not as good as this particular state plan, then we have to join the state plan, which means we'll have to pay more money.
Okay.
So this is a pension plan that police officers and the town have collectively bargained. They're a union, I'm management, we bargain these things.
Collective bargaining.
Yeah.
There you go.
And and the state is going to pass a law saying that my pension plan might not be rich enough for my police officers, therefore I have to join the state plan. I mean, this is exactly.
What?
So I don't know if that's going to pass.
Okay.
But it's a proposed law, but this is
all right.
Some of the kind of kookiness that comes out of there.
Yeah.
And there's another law that's, and I really hope some parents who put their kids in park and rec programs in Westbrook, Clinton, Old Saybrook, all the places that your show reaches, that says, and I'm not as familiar with this one as I am with some of the other stuff, that there has to be an APRN, which is a licensed medical professional, on site at every camp that a park and rec might have in the summer.
Really?
That would basically shut down parks and rec programs in the state of Connecticut, in many towns.
Right.
Because now you're going to have to pay someone an obscene amount of money to be on site just because you're having a camp for kids. I'll tell you this much. People in our town put their kids in our park and rec programs because they're excellent and they're reasonably priced.
Okay.
If they're not, you go to a private camp, you're going to pay a lot more money.
Oh yeah, of course you are.
Right?
Yeah.
So if our park and rec programs go away, our citizens are going to be fuming.
Yes.
And if they go away, it's because of silly, and that's a kind word.
Okay, yeah.
Proposed laws just like that.
Right.
And, people wonder sometimes, how active I am at the state level. I'm very active.
Yeah.
I testify against this silliness, and I write letters to the commissions, and I tell them, if you do this, you're going to make sure that kids in Old Lyme, who maybe don't have as much money as some other kids in Old Lyme, can't go to summer camp.
Right.
So what are they going to do? They're going to sit home on their phone all day.
Exactly.
And not get some more, socialization that they need. So anyway, that's some stuff that's going on at the state level. I know we can talk a lot about local stuff too, but I get so frustrated this time of year with our state legislature and what they do up there. I feel like the state legislature should be just a bunch of mayors and first selectmen, and we'd be much better off because we would do a lot less harm to our residents in the property tax. Those state legislators get up there, and it's like they don't live in the communities that we live in, and they want to pass these laws. They have no idea the fiscal impact that it has on both property taxes and their constituents.
Right.
So that's enough about the state stuff. I'll let you. I'll throw it back to you.
You're going to throw it back to me? Okay. So in the town of Old Saybrook.
That's where I'm first selectman.
I know you're first selectman. I've heard that and I've seen that. I understand that there was a PERF study done.
Okay. PERF stands for Police Executive Research Forum.
Yes.
Okay, just so I want your viewers to know that. And we did a, what was called, and this is somewhat old news, but I want to bring people up to date. We did an organizational study on the culture of the police department and also a pay and benefits study. Okay. And basically what the study's conclusion, whether it's people's opinion or not, the study's conclusion was that we've had a dramatic loss in police officers due to the culture at the police department.
Correct.
So they came up with about 30 recommendations as to some of the things that the police commission could implement, some of them by the town, some of them by the chief of police, and they're working on that right now.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay,
and there's a lot going on with the PERF study. I think anybody who's been following knows that the Police Commission has been meeting in executive session quite a bit. And they've been talking in executive session about very sensitive items that
stuff that you can't talk about in public because it's an executive session.
But if they ever need to vote on anything, it has to be in public session.
Right.
And I think ultimately the public will have a very good insight as to what the Police Commission was talking about in executive session.
Right.
When that will be, I don't know. Maybe the month of March, April, but the end result of the perf study is probably going to be, the Police Commission is going to be acting on a lot of the recommendations over the course of the next few months, and and there's other stuff going on behind the scenes that may also reveal itself in March or April. Right. And what that is exactly, obviously, I'm not going to say. I can't say right now.
No.
But it's stuff that we're working together with the Police Commission, with the Chief of Police, and with my office on how we might shape the future of the police department in the town of Old Saybrook.
There we go. And we also, speaking of the town of Old Saybrook, we also have Celebrate Old Saybrook coming up.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So Celebrate Old Saybrook, this will be our third Celebrate Saybrook, on June 22nd, 2025, from 1:30 to 6 p.m. It is a great, by the way, we have 120 vendors already signed up.
It is a good time because I ran into you last year.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
You walked right by me.
No, that's not true. So this year, we already have amazing vendors. We have 4 beer vendors. We have a spirits vendor, all Connecticut-sourced product. We have probably 60 crafters. We probably have 40 food trucks.
Cool.
A lot of our Main Street businesses are partaking. And we have 2 music stages.
Okay.
Our main stage, there's a band called Sugar. They're a very popular band along the shoreline.
Okay.
I saw them play at an event that I went to last fall, and I said, we have to get that band.
There you go.
They're a little bit more money than what we were paying.
Right.
But Sugar is well known on the shoreline.
Okay.
And they're going to bring their own group of people who are going to want to come and see them.
Yeah, they're going to bring their own groupies.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it is kind of neat. And listen, it's a huge success. Again, the police department is integral to that. The police department, the police chief, they do a great job on that day. Our public works department does a great job on that day. Our Parks and Rec does a great job. So a lot of work goes into it all year long.
Yes.
So that's on June 22nd. Some of the other things just going on, over the years, a lot of our parks in town are 60 years old.
Right.
In the town of Old Saybrook. They're old and they're kind of decrepit. So the Parks and Rec department a few years ago had a strategic plan drawn up. They spent about $60,000 to get a strategic plan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they identified like 3 or 4 areas in town, parks that really needed some upgrades. And we are now dedicating a lot of money to Park and Rec towards their strategic plan. And that is about $200,000 a year.
All right.
That goes right into a sinking fund for Park and Rec to reinvest in their parks. And so the goal of all this is we have a great town.
Yeah.
I think we have a great town. And but our parks can definitely use a little bit of an upgrade. So I'm hoping that that over some investments over the next year or 2, year 3 will really make a difference and people will see it. We're going to be doing hopefully some work at our Ferry Road Park and some work at what we call our town park, which is on Schoolhouse Road. I wouldn't expect you to know where either one of those are. They're just local parks where, the kids play soccer and softball and baseball and all stuff like that. So
There's a town park on Schoolhouse Road?
There is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, at Luigi's.
Yep.
Yep. And you go up about a mile, and it's out there on the right. It's called Clark Park.
Okay.
And Clark Park has about 500 acres of open space that connects.
Cool.
And it connects with the preserve now.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
So. And I understand you had Amanda Brower in here. Not
I
that
did.
long ago.
We did, yeah. Amanda and Nancy Walsh were on with
And
me.
Amanda was probably touting the library renovation.
Yes.
Yep.
Has that started yet?
Not the renovation. It has
Okay.
not. We're working on the fundraising part of it still.
Okay, so we're still raising money. Okay.
Yeah. Can I just say I love this setup?
You can.
I want to interrupt you and compliment you
That's
on your
fine.
setup.
Well, thank you.
It's really excellent.
Hey, by the way, before we say goodnight, we got to circle.
I thought we were just starting.
No.
I'm just getting rolling.
Oh boy, we can do an hour with you next time. Before I forget,
Yeah.
for Celebrate Old Saybrook, I hear we have a major sponsor.
Oh, our major sponsor for the third year in a row, it was From You Flowers, but
Yes.
now it's FTD, the flower company, that From You Flowers and FTD merged. We'll call it a merger.
Yes.
I believe actually From You Flowers actually purchased FTD. And FTD obviously is a much better brand name because it's been around for so long. And FTD is sponsoring From You Celebrate Saybrook. In fact, today
Yeah.
I just approved the artwork on all the 12-ounce cups.
For the cups.
And the cups this year are recyclable.
Okay.
And so we won't be causing, hopefully, too much litter. We always thank Mike Chapin and
Absolutely.
FTD for their generous sponsorship of Celebrate Saybrook. We really couldn't do it without them.
No.
Anyway, and just a couple other things.
You got one more thing.
I got one more
Yeah,
thing.
one more thing.
We are good to go on our sidewalks from the Dairy Queen to Westbrook. We're going to be putting that out to bid.
Okay.
So there are no sidewalks right now.
Right.
Those sidewalks are going in, and we're upgrading 3 crosswalks on Main Street
Okay.
with solar-powered flashing lights. So
Cool.
you've crossed Main Street.
Yes.
In Old Saybrook.
Yes.
It is dangerous to cross
Yes.
Old Saybrook Main Street. This is going to make it much safer. You're going to be able to push a button, and you're going to get some flashing signals. Cars will know to stop when the illustrious Pete Mezzetti crosses Main Street, Old Saybrook.
Absolutely.
It's a 4-lane road. It's very dangerous to cross.
Cool. Carl Fortuna.
Awesome.
We're
Thank
out
you
of
for
time.
having me on.
Thank
I
you for some
appreciate it.
time. We'll see
Good
you
to
soon.
see you again.
You too. On behalf of Carl Fortuna, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night. We'll see you next time.